tired of repeating the same steps in Excel? In just few minutes, you can create a macro that does it all for you automatically. Let's start by creating your very first macro step by step. This is the first video of a series of videos on Excel macros. On the left side of the window there is an original sales report, which we monthly receive from the sales department. For this illustration, we would name it as Unformatted Report. Certain tasks are performed on this report before presenting it to the relevant department. These tasks are to be performed on Unformatted Report. For Units Sold column, compute total units sold, make total amount bold, and central alignment of quantities sold. For Unit Price and Sales Revenue columns, format the column as $. For Sales Revenue column, calculate sales revenue for each model. Calculate total revenue for all items, and show total revenue in bold. After performing these tasks, we would get a resulting formatted report, namely, Sample Formatted Report, as shown to the right side of the screen. For achieving our current tasks, we will create a macro, which uses absolute references. Always use a duplicate worksheet for creating a new macro, or for running the macro for the first time. Keep the original worksheet intact. The reason is that if something goes wrong during creating or running the macro, resulting in unexpected outcome, the Excel application cannot undo that error. While creating this macro, we have assumed that number of columns and rows would remain unchanged for repetitive tasks in future. Besides, order of columns would also not change. For creating the macro for this video, let us move to the computer screen. Press Developer tab. If we press Use Relative References button to record the macro will use relative references. Since we intend to use absolute references, do not select this button. In the unselected state, it will use absolute references. Please note that, in case of absolute references, it is also not relevant as to which cell of the worksheet is selected, either before recording of the macro or running of the macro. Now, press Record Macro button, the Record Macro dialog box will open. In the name box, type a name which describes the nature of the macro, such as Formatting Sales Report. Then, assign a shortcut key such as lowercase a. This step is optional, but it expedites the running of the macro. In the Store Macro In field, select this workbook. Now we can only use this macro for the current workbook only. Click the link to the top right side of the screen to find the detailed procedure to fill in the macro dialog box. In the description box, type information about the macro, such as Formatting Sales Report, using absolute references. You may also include other essential information in the description, so that any person, other than the creator of the macro, may fully understand the macro before using it. Then hit OK button to start recording of macro. This message is received because spaces in the macro name are not allowed. Click OK and remove these spaces. Then press OK button again to start recording of macro. Now all actions performed with mouse and keyboard will be recorded. You can also notice that the Record Macro button has now changed to Stop Recording. When you press this button, recording of macro will stop. Our first task is in relation to Units Sold column. We will compute total units sold and make total amount bold, then central alignment of quantities sold. To achieve this task, select cell C13 and click on some symbol. Then press Enter key. Total of the quantities will fill the cell. To make the font of total as bold, select cell C13 and click bold icon. The quantity total has converted to bold. Select cell C5 to C13, press Center tab and Middle Align tab. The values in the column will be aligned in the center. Our next task relates to the columns of Unit Price and Sales Revenue. We need to format amounts of the columns as $. Select the range of cells from D5 to E13, and right-click in the range of cells, select Format Cells. Select Currency, currently pound symbol is selected. To change it to English United States, click this down arrow. Select the desired currency, and press OK. Now numbers are showing as $. Please note that some blank cells, formatted as $, are not showing any $sign. However, when we will insert figures in them, these figures will be shown as $, as well. Lastly, for sales revenue column, we will calculate sales revenue for each model, calculate total revenue for all items, and show total revenue in bold. To do so, select cell E5 and press equal key. Select cell C5 and press multiplication key. Then select D5 cell and press enter key. Cell E5 will fill with sales revenue amount of the first computer model. Thereafter, compute the revenues for other models. Select cell E5 and press Ctrl+C keys. Then select cell E6 to cell E12, and press enter key. Selected cells will fill with the revenues of the relevant models. Now select cell E13. Hit the Sum tab and press enter key, to compute the total revenue amount of all models. Now select cell E13 and click bold icon, to make total amount bold. All steps of our task are complete now. You can see, now both the reports are same in all respects, with the exception of their cell ranges. For stopping the macro, click Developer tab, then hit Stop Macro tab. Click the View tab. Then click this down arrow below the Macros tab, and hit the View Macros tab to open the Macros dialog box. In the macro name box, you will find just created macro, formatting sales report.